Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rockstar Connect. My name is Stephen David Elliot. This is the Three Martini Lunch, which is a national virtual networking event. And I'm so happy to see everyone. I know last week we weren't able to have a Three Martini Lunch. It's rare that we missed them, but I'm glad that you were able to come back this week. Now, this program is based on success, the fact that success is contagious. And one of the things that we used to do frequently when it was in a different format is we would share our successes with one another at the beginning of the show. And since it's been 2 weeks since anyone has been on, I think we've had ample time to have a lot of successes. Is that right? Is everyone smiling? They've had a lot of successes? Who isn't smiling? Everyone is smiling. So this week, what I would like is I would like everyone to give an opportunity, first of all, to share just a little bit about yourself and also share with us what your success has been for the week. And I'll start that off. For Sarah and I, our big success is we closed on our new home, which we were only 3 days late in closing, but those 3 days felt like 3 years, I have to tell you. It's good to be on that side of the transaction once in a while to find out how stressful it is for our buyers and sellers in a real estate transaction. It is crazy when there's a deadline in this market and you have to go beyond deadline and depend on the kindness of the seller to allow you to still purchase the home when they can sell the home for $100,000 more than they were able to 1 month before. That's how crazy the market is all around the country. I understand a lot of people are sort of unhappy with their agents because maybe they had 3 months to closing and the property's gone up 150,000. Well, we don't have crystal balls, and things are going up right now. So please forgive your agent. They couldn't predict that, and you did have to go under contract eventually to sell it. So this week, hey, Adam, you're just coming on. This week, we're going to talk about our successes and share a little bit about ourselves as well, and back to the old format. Barbara hasn't been on for a few months, and she is involved in organizations, so we definitely want to know what she's doing. We've all gotten through our taxes recently. If you haven't, good luck to you in October during your extension. But organization is so important, not only to keep on top of things like taxes, but also that's a direct example of when you are organized that you will make money. Any money that's not paid to the IRS is money that you've actually made. So Barbara, why don't we start with you? You can tell us a little bit about your successes over the last 2 weeks, the successes you've had for yourself, your client, and your family.
Thank you. Well, yesterday, my grandson celebrated his 16th birthday, and we met at McDonald's in a parking lot where we could be outdoors, and it was a beautiful day, and we just had a wonderful time. And life doesn't get any better than celebrating your grandchildren's success. So that was really cool. In terms of organization, I've been working with this whole issue of clutter. My business has been based on clutter as postponed decisions. And that started with physical clutter, with closed closets and email and digital clutter. But as I grow older and have more experience in the business world, I'm realizing that the clutter that really, really affects our world is the emotional and spiritual clutter. And we have two kinds of laws in the world. We have man-made laws and we have God-made laws. And when the man-made laws are complementary to the God-made laws, that's when our world is going to be a more peaceful place. So my personal success right now is just connecting with people who want to help people connect with godly principles. And just this week, I was able to connect with an international convention or organization that deals with clutter. And so we'll see what happens with that, but it's very exciting to think about it.
Well, that's great. And do you feel that since COVID, people become more spiritual? They're taking a look more at that?
No
Do you
question
work
about
outside?
it. They're looking more at their clutter because people are more aware of how much stuff we have, and stuff meaning physical stuff, but just also trying to do too many things. And I really believe that God gave each of us some very unique skills. And when we figure out what that is, we're able to get rid of the clutter that prevents us from being all that God intended us to be. And so that's what I'm loving now, is working with people to help them get rid of the clutter in their brain, the clutter in their lives that prevents them from meeting that spiritual purpose.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. And welcome back.
Thanks.
Clint, please drop your information into the chat so that people can find you.
Sure.
Clint, so you went to the North Hills networking event. Yeah, we were all maskless there, all maskless at the event.
It was wild.
So I am back to only wearing masks to Halloween parties and when I rob banks. So
it was a really good time, Stephen. It was good to see everybody out there. It was nice to see some people that I hadn't seen in a while, especially in person. And your events are always the best, man, which is why nobody should ever miss them if they have the opportunity to go.
It was a pretty cool event. I got some business. I got
Yeah.
a buyer and I got a seller at the event. So just for attending that event, I made about $25,000.
That's awesome, dude. And
That's the thing.
I had some professional success from that event as well. Met somebody there that I hadn't seen in a while. So, I mean, I've known them, just saw somebody there I haven't seen in a year and some change. And we made a date to go out on the golf course and did that and actually closed some business with them on the golf course. So my professional success is that. Also combining that with the fact that there's nobody that does this that works the way I work. Like in my industry, it's not really done. And that's why my company that I work for, Coeco, that's why they hired me. And it's nice to show them some ROI consistently with the way that I work, to show them that, hey, this can, social selling, so to speak, can be a thing. And not just, yeah, it does. And there's some people that are, in my line of work, in my office even, that don't understand how I get so much autonomy and freedom. And like hey, I can go do this. Why can't I do this? Like, well, you can, you just don't know how. And so it's just one of those things where as long as you know how to schmooze and whatnot, then it's going to be very, very successful. And I've showed that in this business. So personal success, my wife, lives with her grandmother and takes care of her. She has vascular dementia, and she's been living there for about 4 years, 3.5 or 4 years. And I was actually able to go spend the weekend there so she can get away and go to the beach with her friends, because she's always there, always around it all the time. And she deserved some time away. And so that was my personal success, is that I was able to take a load off of her and let her go and have some fun and not worry about her grandmother for the weekend.
Well, that's great. Big success.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to do something like that for her, because I know she enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and if as we're going around and we're answering this question about what our most recent successes are, if it has anything to do with you working your sphere of influence or your network, please share that, because that's very important to the people that listen to this program.
Well, it's the way that I make my money. I don't go around cold calling and stuff like that. So it's all about networking. It's all about building relationships, and more importantly than building relationships is keeping those relationships.
Yeah, I was mentoring someone today, and they were talking about the new ads they're going to run on Facebook. And I said, well, what about your existing list of people? Have you spoken to them? And she said, no, I'm embarrassed to, because I think they're going to be too busy. And I said, well, I think what you could do is you could probably start out with an email saying just that. Look, I'm a little embarrassed. I haven't reached out to you because I've assumed you're so busy, but there's so many things going on in our industry right now that I would feel remiss if I didn't tell you about them. So here's my calendar link. Let's book some time to talk about that. And then start with the low-hanging fruit from her list, whatever, I think in her case, her list, there was 100 past clients. Deal with the low-hanging fruit, the people that had the appointments, and then go back and follow up with the people that didn't respond to an email in another way, maybe a text or a phone call. But can you imagine, when you have a list of 100 people that could potentially give you business right there, and you're going to go spend money on Facebook ads, which will probably do very little, or at least not give you warm fuzzies or warm leads or contacts.
No doubt.
Hey, let's start. Let's go over to Rhonda Sher.
Well, hello. Actually, my big success is I took a vacation. So I was in Maui last week. That was the big vacation. And then it took a week to recover, just from getting back. And, you work so hard to get on vacation, and then you work so hard to get back vacation. Thanks to Jenny, I actually started with my new virtual assistant. So we'll see how that's going to go.
So amazing. Like, I can't even begin to, I can share your joy so much at this point because I know how amazing she is.
Yeah, so we're, I just gave her a bunch of stuff to do when I was on vacation. And then Adam and I have a call to talk because I want to find out more about what he's doing. But that's really been it. I'm still getting my face reading course ready to launch, which will tie in with LinkedIn, actually. It's all about developing rapport instantly with people. So that's been one of the big things. And Stephen, you and I still need to set up a call because—
That's what I was going to say. We owe each other a call there.
Yeah, so I have a connection that allows people that already have a platform that want to offer everything that Zoom offers on steroids for $12.99 a month. And it's pretty cool. So I'll put the link in it so that if you want to get it, you can sign up under my link. I make practically nothing, but it's just a way to offer it. But if you know of a company or you know of somebody that has an organization where all of their people use Zoom and they'd like to be able to offer it at a discount, I'd love an introduction to be able to give that benefit to them. So that's kind of my ask.
Well, that's a good ask. And also, I know that we need to set up a call with Sarah and Mark and
yeah.
Now that you're
we'll
back.
Do that as well. Absolutely.
Now, I made a post today about having a day off, and people asking, "What are you going to do on your day off?" And I said, "I'm not going to do anything." And then they start making suggestions to you what you should do on your day off. And sometimes a day off should just be that, a day off from everything and sort of bumming around. I think we almost accomplished that on Saturday for a portion of the day, and it was a great thing. So let's go from Mrs. Sher to Mr. Sher, no relation, Mark Sher in Miami. Why don't you share some successes with us? I know you had a good call with one of our referrals this week with Sarah.
Right. Sarah and I spoke with a gal in your neighborhood, and it was interesting. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll develop into something nice. For me, my big success is we were able to get the third largest mortgage provider in the country. They do 2,000 mortgages a month, 1,200 new, 800 refis. To basically, they own a company that they're going to start referring us all of their clients, which will be amazing.
Yeah, if you just get a tiny percentage of that,
that was pretty exciting. If we get 5% of their clients as new clients, we'll be very, very exciting. And we'll probably be closer to 10 or 20, but 5% will make us happy. Personally, my sister was in town from San Clemente, and we had a lot of fun, and she went home and she survived. So that was exciting. And I'll be out in San Diego on the 21st of June through the 23rd. Then I'm going to San Luis Obispo on the 24th. And I'm flying home on the 25th. And a little bit of business and a little bit of pleasure. And so I'm starting to travel again, which needless to say I'm excited about. And that's pretty much the short version.
And you have an event coming up.
Well, I was going to save that for next week, but yeah. The first Rockstar event in many, many moons will be happening for us in Coral Gables at the Seasons 52. next Wednesday. We're very excited about that. And it'll be fun to get back in gear a little bit. Been very lazy.
Well, we're back up to 20 events. Pre-COVID, we were doing 150 events per month. So we are making strides to get back where we need to be, and we seem to be adding 1 or 2 new hosts per week.
I have a couple for you, by the way, as well as, speaking of clutter, one of my big projects last month or so has been going through all my clutter, and I found the Stephen. Do you remember the first Brazilian rotisserie in the United States? It wasn't Fruta de Chão. It wasn't the other ones. Porcao.
My favorite restaurant in the world. Yeah.
There is the one pig.
When it went.
And there's the other pig.
This restaurant was like, if you've been to a Brazilian rodizio, you really haven't. This was the best place on the face of the earth. Like, Brazilians would come from Brazil to go to this restaurant right on Brickell, right?
Brickell Bay Drive, and the 4 ambassadors.
Yeah, and that building is pretty much everybody in that building is from Brazil, or used to be.
So
yeah,
anyway.
that's a good memory. That's hold on to that one. Otherwise, someone will put it on eBay.
That's right.
Rena Cook out in Oklahoma.
Hey.
You're in, where are you in Oklahoma again?
Tulsa.
Tulsa. Okay, great.
The pretty part of Oklahoma.
The pretty part. We have an event in Edmond coming up. Are you near Edmond?
I am 2 hours away from Edmond.
Okay, so we have one coming up in Edmond. Maybe you can drive out to it.
Maybe I could drive out there. Why don't you send me or put it in the chat who's hosting that, and I'll connect with them.
Alan, can you have your team send something to Rena for the invite for that, and who's hosting?
Sure thing.
It's actually one of our panelists, Victoria Woods.
Oh. Is
going to be hosting that event with her team. And
okay.
they actually signed up way back in November of last year to do it. We were just waiting until, the masks were off, so to
right.
speak. So, Rena, if you could share some successes that you've had.
Oh, well, it's been such an incredibly fruitful time thinking about the holiday weekend and how I was able to maximize and get all of the goodies out of this holiday weekend. We went to the lake. We have a cottage at Lake Eufaula, and we spent a quiet couple of days there. Came back yesterday, on the holiday. It's like, how do I want to spend this day? Well, I worked out, I took a hot bath, I read for fun. I didn't go to my office. My office, of course, is upstairs in my house. I didn't go into my office one time the whole 4-day weekend, and I feel refreshed and ready to get back to work. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a great story. But if I could share something else, there was a client. A friend who went to one of to the North Hills networking event. I met him just prior to COVID. He went to the event, the second to last event before COVID. And when I was at that event, a lot of people said, because we have a little discrimination in Raleigh, it used to be against people from New York. Now it's against people from California. Sorry, Rhonda, they just don't like people from California and they don't like how blunt they are, because Southerners, we don't go like straight to the point. We sort of go around it like a million different ways, like bless your heart sort of thing. Like, oh, he's obnoxious. He's from California. He wants to do things that we don't do here and haven't been done. Try to stay away from him. So, of course, I had to immediately introduce myself to him and go have lunch with him and learn about what he was doing. We were doing some really cool stuff. And then I ended up helping him with a few transactions at a very, very reduced rate, because they're, just to help him out to get doing some of the things that he was doing that were crazy. And he referred to me last week, his father from California, who wanted to buy $8 million worth of property in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow.
And completely sight unseen, and putting it into my hands to find properties that, basically to create a little real estate empire for them here. So it's just one of those successes that come from networking, and also not just, taking everybody's word, what people say about a person, really getting to know them and making your own judgment.
Yeah, that's great testimony, and that's a great opportunity for you. Congratulations.
It was a great opportunity. We already, we're almost halfway done with getting those properties, which is great. But it just points to the way networking should be. I had no expectation. I just felt that this guy was being picked on, and I wanted to give him a little help because he was being picked on. Hey, Adam, because you were looking down, I called on you.
That's okay. I was just preparing my info for the chat.
That was a coincidence.
As I was really getting jealous of all these celebrations that are going on, because I'm still on lockdown here, and one of my big
out there, right?
One more time.
Still wearing face diapers out there.
There's no place to go, so
you don't even wear those.
There's not, if you go to the grocery store, you have to wear the mask, but otherwise it's still on lockdown.
Why? I mean, how is the government explaining that to you?
Well, they say we're the government and just do what we tell you to do. It's not like they're in America. I'm not in America right now. I'm in Canada. They don't have the same Bill of Rights in the Constitution that you have down there. So it's different. And, just like, Barbara was saying earlier, when man's laws and God's laws match, we're doing good things, and they don't really match up here. And it's
people upset about that, or are they getting to the breaking point?
Well, it's on lockdown, so you don't get to talk to people. I don't really know people. Everybody I talk to is in the United States or Mexico or wherever they may be. Up here, you listen to the news, and they say 78% of Canadians are in favor of vaccine passports. And they're not. It's just government-controlled news, so they can kind of say what they want to say.
How's the economy moving forward? Like, how are people working and doing business if everything is shut down?
So from what I understand, businesses are closing left and right. Restaurants are closing. We took a walk in the downtown area, and it's not vibrant. It's really like the government is choking off the business community. Yeah,
but
there's
exploiting a crisis in some way.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know you still deal with people in the United States, so you're still doing business. I know you have some book tours going on. What are some of your personal successes?
So personal success, number one, and I mentioned this a couple of months ago, but this weekend was when my daughter actually went down to Orlando and picked up her $20,000 college scholarship.
Awesome. Congrats. It's fantastic.
Yeah. On her way there, she got another scholarship from her old sorority for $2,500. So I told my kid, make it your job. Make it your job to go after scholarships. She's making on average about $200 an hour for the amount of time she's putting in applying for scholarships.
I've been trying to push my daughter to go for the scholarship. She's only gone for 2 thus far.
I have that connection for you. I'll get that to you afterwards. Daphne's open to connecting now. She's back at school.
Great. I think my daughter will be there in about whenever summer B starts.
Yeah. So Daphne's hosting a little thing on June 25th. We'll get your daughter an invite. What's her name again?
Her name is Barry, B-A-R-I, same last name as mine, Elliot, E-L-L-I-O-T. And she's looking for like volunteering opportunities when she gets up there, service. So that's something she's very interested in. She's not going to be joining a sorority, but she still wants to have, the ability to help other people through service.
Cool. Yeah, lots of stuff available like that up there.
Terrific. Well, I'm sorry to hear what's happening in Canada, but otherwise, we're rooting for you and hope you come out of that situation.
Well, the one good thing about it is I had my birthday this past weekend.
Oh, and happy birthday.
Sorry.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
And in Canada, I'm only 39 years old.
How old are you in reality?
Well, in the United States, I'm 55.
Wow, you look great.
Thanks, brother.
It's a hell of an exchange rate, Adam.
Right?
55 looks terrific. Let's go. We'll go Jennifer, and then we'll go Katie, and then we'll let Jenny finish up. Okay, Jenny, you ready? When we get to you. Okay, Jennifer, what have some of your successes been?
So yeah, a few things about personal life. Had in-laws come over here and meet my parents for the first time over Zoom, since they live all the way out in Vancouver, Washington. So, and my parents-in-law are deaf, so I had to sign and kind of translate a little bit what they're saying to meet each other. So that was fun, get to spend some time with them. And then I just onboarded my new intern for growing our new brand, Florida Bulletin. So super excited to grow that and getting people to, you know, follow us on social media. So that's one of my asks. You know, if you know people in the Florida area, you know, we're doing a free ad just to help get that brand going. And we don't feel like it's right to charge anyone yet for now. So, you know, just, you know, send people our way. And the other ask is, you know, if you know of anyone in the Raleigh area, you know, we're still trying to grow the North Carolina presence for Carolina Bulletin. You know, we'd love to promote their business too.
You know, a lot of people we can connect you with in Raleigh. We'd love to have our Florida events in there as well, because we have quite a few of them now. I think we're like probably up to 6 or 7 again. Mark Sher down in Florida, he can make some introductions. I think that your platform would be great for your family bank. And of course, Adam does a lot of business in Florida. He's in Canada, but his major sphere of influence is South Florida. And he could definitely make some introductions to you. What's your nickname in South Florida? Don't you have a nickname there? As like Mr. So-and-so or?
No, I ran the Florida Power Team for Tony Robbins. So that's still, as a matter of fact, Tony's got a live event coming up. If you guys want advanced tickets, let me know.
I think Clint says he does. So that's great. You know, Florida is going to be a huge market for you. I mean, everyone in Florida understands marketing and advertising. You don't have to, you know, teach them anything. They just want the opportunity to get on the right platforms. Wouldn't you agree, Adam?
100%.
Yeah, you get on the phone with someone from Florida. They say, we don't need the sales pitch. Where do we sign up?
Sign me up. Jennifer, I want in.
Usually in Florida, if you get on the phone with someone from Florida, they explain your business to you better than you understand your own business. So that's the great part about doing business in Florida. Katie Blomquist, lots of successes. I heard about some people that are signing up for your class this weekend from a few people.
No one signed up yet, so
they're saying a couple people told me they're.
A lot of people say they're going to.
Well, these people said they're nickels, dimes, and quarters, and
if I had a nickel for every person that said I'm signing up.
Well, they brought it up on their own, and they brought it up to me, not you.
Well, good. And I can't wait for that to come through because I can't wait to start helping more people. But we had I don't think I've seen you guys since we had our gala, right?
No, we saw you right after the gala.
It was like 2 days after the gala, and you were still floating.
Okay, so we raised $70,000 at our gala. We netted 50. Most nonprofits don't even break even at their first gala, and we netted $50,000. So if that's not indication that I can help nonprofits do some, raise some money, we did something right at that gala, and it was unbelievable. It was so much fun. Usually, people go to galas and they don't use the word fun to describe it. They say that was really nice. People had fun at our gala. We had amazingly cool entertainment with the aerial bartender, pouring champagne from the ceiling. It was such a successful, good event. It was 200 people. Next year, we're going to make it 400. We actually have our first planning meeting this Thursday to start that for next May. But it was great. But yeah, the numbers finally came in, and I could not be more thrilled that we raised so much money. So
what was the general feeling? Are people just excited to get out? Do you think
yeah. I mean, it was everyone. I didn't even think twice about it. Like everyone it was the first big event I think that Charleston's had besides like weddings with that many people. And, the mayor came, the Charleston mayor came, the Mount Pleasant mayor came, Nancy Mace, our congresswoman came, and Dion Tedder, our state representative came. Both the mayor and the congresswoman said they could only stay for an hour, and they both stayed for an hour extra beyond what they said they were going to stay. Because I think usually they're out, so they don't have to stay all night at these events. But they were having such a good time. They stayed. Everyone, I said in the microphone something about how good to feel to be out at an event again. And I didn't expect it. And everyone was like roaring, clapping, like, yes.
So, I mean, beyond the enthusiasm and the money, I mean, compared to like the virtual events that you've done over the last year, money wise, it's a much more.
I mean, we didn't really do many we had one small virtual event and we raised like $7,000. Like that was like virtual events were not very successful for nonprofits. People were sick of being on the computer, all the time and just zoomed out. And we did ours in September and it just wasn't, the excitement isn't there. People aren't as excited to give unless you're like the Red Cross and you have 8 zillion supporters and followers, or unless your nonprofit's been around for like 20 years and you have those set companies that, okay, at your galas when we always are doing our big giving to you. I know nonprofits in town that still have like a virtual event and they're inside of their gala, and those big companies, like they still gave the same check they give every year. So it wasn't like because it was it was so successful virtually. It's those set people that still.
In the enthusiasm level, those people that are going to go to the event, they're going to be evangelists for your brand. Right.
People they wanted to get out. It was the most perfect weather day. It just couldn't have been more perfect. And people were ready for it.
For those of us that are doing events, what were some of the key words that you used in your email marketing, for example, to let people know that you were back and doing live events?
For the gala, we just talked about like it was a normal, like it was 2019 again. Like we just said, we're having an event, a gala. Like it was, it was. And
that's a great tagline. It's 2019 again.
Yeah. We had said,
remember that one.
We had everyone sign like a CDC like waiver saying, they hadn't been, in contact with someone, blah, blah, blah. But we had hand sanitizer around the room, and basically if you didn't feel comfortable, then don't come. But I think that I only know one person that said that they didn't feel comfortable. Everyone else, if you're vaccinated and you're out, then you're, there's no reason not to be comfortable. So we didn't really have to talk much about it. It was just like, okay, here's our this is like third time's the charm. We've rescheduled this several times, we're finally having it. And, we just, we didn't really do anything special. It wasn't like a big, we're back in person, because we didn't have a ton of online stuff. It was just the buildup of finally we're having our gala.
Yeah, you probably had a pretty big, very big list by that point too.
We did, thank God, because, it was 1,000 times more successful than it would have been had we actually had it in the original date in March of last year. It was just, we had way better marketing. New board members really helped us rebrand it. So we kind of changed the flyer, we changed the name. They were like, this looks like a kids event and the ticket prices are too low. Important people with a lot of money this does not look like an event they would come to. And so we changed it around a little bit. The event itself was the same, but we marketed it differently. And instead of inviting a bunch of influencers, we invited a bunch of like politicians and like CEOs and deep pocket people, and just kind of refocused, where our focus was.
It sounds like a maturing of your organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Congratulations.
Thanks. Very happy with it.
Jenny, you get to share your successes with us.
The past week, it's just been a mixed bag. Like I ended last week going, there must be some karmic balance that needs to be restored with the absolute shit show that last week was for me. Like, I don't even know. It started with a trip to the ER and ended with my car getting hit. And it was like, I don't understand. Like, I literally didn't understand what happened. But I spent the weekend just like dealing with the crazy car stuff. Cause even though, right, like I'm the one that no one should need to talk to because should just be handling everything because I was the one that was hit. It ended up being like hours and hours and hours on the phone with the insurance company and all these different things. And but despite that, like I went out with my girlfriend and we went and got pedicures and beers and had a nice, relaxing afternoon. We went, hung out with Dominic and his family yesterday and had a cookout and just like enjoyed like a normal Memorial Day. Sunday, spent the day at the zoo with my daughter. And so it was just like, what really resonated with me when you started and said that, what are you going to do with your day off? And you say nothing. Like, I love those days. I live for those days where there's literally nothing. But it's more about like whatever you need to do to recharge. Right? Like that's the important part. That's the key piece of the element. Like your recharging could look like, I know people who go and rock like scale mountains and go for hikes and do that. And I'm like, no, that does not sound fun, but hey, you do you.
I mean, it's basically it's doing nothing can be, I'm not going to allow anything to do with what I'm doing. I'm not going to interfere with what I'm doing. Push my calls to my assistant, hire someone to do a task. And if you can, I would like to say to people that one thing that I found that I've over the last couple of years, the last 5 years running multiple businesses, if I can pay someone to take menial work off of my hands so I can spend time with my family and with my friends or just taking a nap, or even doing things that are more constructive in my business and growing my business, it's well worth it. And you really need to establish what your time is worth and act accordingly.
And then raise your prices.
And then raise your prices.
And then there's the back. I'm home today because like when I didn't know when I was going to be able to get the rental, I didn't know when anything was going to happen. So I had my husband take me to my office and I literally brought all my equipment home and I'm sitting in my dining room. And of course the dog is monitoring the status of the fence and trucks that drive by.
Right.
So
I think part of the dilemma will be for some people, because I've spoken to a lot of people who have already achieved their financial goals that they had set in December, and they've already achieved that for the year plus. And they're like, but that requires there's a lot of work. There's a lot more work. Can they keep up that level for the rest of the year? Do they need to do what, you and Rhonda did and get a virtual assistant? Or alternatively, maybe not take on as many clients for the rest of the year? Go out to your cottage like Rena's doing. Try to do other things that are not work related. Do you have an opinion on that, Jenny, or would someone else like to share one?
no, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think that it's just a matter of figuring out, it's prioritizing, right? Like, so I have my new website's coming out. I have 2 other projects for my business that I'm working on, but at the same time, like, I'm not doing it alone because I don't want to. And I figured out that, I'm sure Barbara is going to have a lot to say about this. And like, what makes you productive, right, is clearing out some of that clutter. And that clutter can look like you're spending time on the things that you don't enjoy doing, so they don't get done efficiently or effectively.
Hiring people and delegating responsibilities, that's really sharing the wealth. People feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I should be doing, or I don't want to give other people work. Well, guess what? Other people want work. They need work. They get value the same way that you do, by accomplishing tasks and innovating, and by sharing that's a great success for them and for you. Katie's, we've been talking with Katie for a year now about her organization, and a constant story throughout is the expansion of the people that she can delegate to. Not only that she can delegate to, but to people that can innovate within her organization, so she doesn't have to be the one brain all the time, right, Katie?
Although I think once we can have more employees, it'll be a grant writer that we'll hire instead of like someone to help me daily, because I can still fill those positions with free interns. So I think that, but yes, I mean, it's been really tough not being able to have interns. I mean, I have a social media intern because that position's always virtual, but not having 2 to 3 in-person interns 3 days a week, 2 days a week has been dramatically, I didn't realize how much they were doing for me until I didn't have them anymore. So it's a huge help.
Yeah, I mean, if you do have,
I dream of having a team.
I mean, if you have a team and you fail to delegate and give them responsibilities, it makes your team very nervous.
Yeah, and I mean, even with my board, you know, we have a much stronger board now. Your founding board tends to be a working board, but sort of a weak board because everyone's still trying. You know, you don't have systems in place. Now, you know, we're on to round 2 of a more mature board, and you know, I still have a hard time. Like, I've got an event planner working with another different type of event planner with our gal. They're like, Katie, can you just let us the next one? Like, we'll just plan it. And I'm like, I need to be involved. Just copy me in every email. Like, I still need to be somewhat involved. I can never be like, sure, do it all without me being part of it.
Maybe they should blind copy you.
Yeah, I need to be CC'd. I still need to have approval. Like, I still need to be part of it. I just don't want to be, I can't be the one that's like, hey guys, we need to meet. Hey, have we picked up, like, I need that type of responsibility to be put on someone else, but I need to be in the loop and copy on every conversation. So
well, I'd like to see, come back to a year from now and see how that's.
I mean, when I first had interns, I had a hard time letting them write thank you notes. I was like, I need to read your first thank you note. I need to see like how to redo it. That's not detailed enough, you know. So I have a hard time, you know, a little micromanaging problem, but it's all new and it's my thing and it's my reputation and my name. So it has to be done my way and correctly. And then once I start to trust somebody, I let them be a little more on their own, but I like to be copied on everything.
Very good. So Rena, if you go to the Edmonds one, you can see what an event is like, but has anyone from my team reached out to you about an event?
Yes. Just now, Alan Mail reached out to me. Do you know Alan?
Yeah, he's right up there in the corner.
Hello, Alan?
Yes, that's me. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're not
I'm the
on
one who
my
messaged
screen,
you.
but I trust that you're there, Alan. It's great to meet you. Thank you.
So
Thank
Alan
you for
sent
reaching.
you the invite, but Kimberly, who's our client concierge, will reach out to you because we need to get an event up again in Tulsa. Well, we actually had, you know, covered a lot in a short period of time today. I want to thank everyone for being with us and sharing your successes, because it wasn't, you know, there was no bragging there. It was more, you know, explaining how, well, first of all, it's how many of our successes are interlocked with one another at this point, and how we become such a great mastermind as well. So I want to thank everyone for being here. Hope to see some of you again next week, if not all of you. And goodbye. Check out Rockstar
Bye-bye,
Connect
everyone.
for the event near you.